I am Eva Davis, and I'm 16. My whole life I've been blessed to grow up in a Christian home, in a Christian school, and I gave my life to the Lord at a young age, and I continue to grow closer to Him and learn more about God. A time when my faith was tested and also strengthened was when I was in about 4th grade. At the time, I started experiencing severe ear infections, and I went to many different doctors, and they didn't know what was wrong. And I finally went to a very good ear surgeon in Chicago, and he had diagnosed me with cholesteatoma, which is a very destructive growth that starts in the middle ear bones. Cholesteatoma doesn't start to show symptoms until it becomes pretty bad. So by the time I was diagnosed, I had lost my hearing in my left ear because the cholesteatoma had destroyed my middle eardrum and my middle ear bones. I had around 2 5.5-hour surgeries within 6 months to remove the cholesteatoma, and after the second one, I had to be hospitalized for a few days to undergo tests for different autoimmune diseases, which would have required lifelong treatment. However, thankfully, the tests were negative. A little over 2 years later, I was transferred to a new surgeon and went in for a checkup, and he found that the cholesteatoma had grown back for the second time. And this was unexpected and disappointing, but I knew that God was in control. I had surgery for the 4th time a few weeks later after that, and it's now been 3.5 years later, and I'm still cholesteatoma free. And being deaf in one ear, it is a struggle and it can be frustrating. However, I had another surgery a week ago today for a small hearing device back here called the Baha. And so during all this, I've experienced many surgeries, doctor's visits, medication, hearing tests. But in all the ups and the downs, the Lord has been faithful and good, and my faith has been very strengthened. And I'm thankful for the opportunities presented me to be able to hear again, and that'll start working in about 2 months. And so going through all of this, I felt the Lord called me to go into the medical field, to help other people going through similar situations and be able to talk to them about Jesus. And so I'm also going to talk about Bible camp and foster care. So I've been going to Bible camp since I was a baby, and it's always the highlight of my summer every year. The best thing about it is for 5 days you get to unplug, and you get to be with other believers like you and your age and all different ages. And going to this camp has helped me grow my faith a lot and helped me build many new friendships. So I recommend to go this July. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with foster care. My family, we got our foster license a few years ago, and we got our first placement in last October. And so before we knew it, we had 2 sisters, a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old, who showed up to our house, and they had nothing but the clothes that were on their back. And we saw their other we had the 3-year-old for 5 months, and then the baby for 9 months, I think. And then we saw their other siblings who are 8 and 7, and now they have a new baby sister who's 4 months. And so we grew to love them too. And it was crazy adding 2 little kids to the family, especially for my parents. And we grew especially attached to the baby, and we're even told many times that we were going to adopt her. But then eventually in July last year, the agency decided that all the kids should go back to the lady they were taken from, who was their babysitter when they were with their birth mom before they were taken away the first time. And so we were devastated because we had grown so attached to her, and we were hoping to adopt her. But we were glad that the siblings would be able to be together again, and we just hoped that they wouldn't have to be removed again. And then back in January, we got a call that the kids were being taken away from that lady again. And we were happy to have the baby back with us, but we were devastated for the kids because they had to experience that again. And so foster care can be crazy and it can be scary because of the unknown, but when you see these kids and the hurt they're experiencing, it makes you realize that all they want is for someone to love them. And so God has helped my family in all this, and I can see Him working in the lives of the group of siblings that we are very attached to. For example, the 3-year-old that was with us for a few months, on the way home from school and on the way to school, she would always sing the song, God is good, in the car all the time. And she would always beg us to read her Bible. She loved reading her Bible. And so please pray for these siblings. There's 5 of them now, and they don't really know what their future holds, but my parents, they got into foster care because they wanted to live out their faith, and they wanted to show that to their siblings and I, and it has really made an impact on my life. And that's it. Thank you.